Hey everyone. So there's not really a whole lot to talk about with Chapter 66. It's really just wrapping up the fight with Now. Although I will say I like how Now's arc is resolved, as after Shin basically saves her from drowning, she not only starts to realize how at fault her perceptions were, but immediately concedes with that Shin is the ultimate Sakamoto otaku. Like it's one of those moments that's simultaneously sweet and hilarious because she still doesn't know the actual reason as to why he knows so much about Taro, but is like, and she's still basically a and yet she's, even though she's not as obsessive, I guess, after going to be as obsessive after this, she is still a Taro fangirl, I guess. Which, although I will say the fact that she's again, and I will say the fact that she is still very much a Taro stan, though, despite giving up her title as #1 fan, like, we know where this is going. The moment she realizes the fat guy with glasses is Taro Sakamoto, she is going to be pissed. Her idol is not the man she pretty much thought she was. Like in her mind, she thought like Taro would be this ultimate assassin with her physique all this time, but nah, time kind of has a way of getting away from me. Okay. With that said, though, let's talk about the big reveal that one of the applicants, Shinea, is supposedly a VR robot piloted by Gaku. And I'll be honest, of all the routes this could go in terms of Uzuki's involvement, VR was not on my list, but I kind of love it. One thing I guess that's been made apparent throughout the series at this point is Uzuki's whole motto is using everything and anything at his disposal to create the perfect group of assassins, something that will not only rival but trump the JA in its entirety. So seeing him going so far as using VR while sounding a little out there is perfectly in line with that belief. And let's kind of be real, nowadays in the world we're living in, that's not too far off from that becoming an actual reality. We already got the VR, so to speak. It's just the development of that robotic consciousness to link up and control probably isn't much further behind, and that's, I guess, in a way that's kind of that's kind of what I guess makes this whole setup with Gaku kind of scary, is just the implication of the AI and VR kind of thing. And yeah, seeing Gaku going on a rampage after getting disqualified is actually kind of terrifying. Like, I know we've seen him go on a killing spree before, but I feel this chapter really showcased just how skilled he truly is, even when he doesn't have his weapon in hand, and by proxy, showing just how dangerous Slur's group is becoming. The fact that they're even, like, the fact that even Gaku, even without a weapon, is still skilled in his own right, is terrifying. And now that they're using VR to this extent, it all shows that for what they lack in numbers, they definitely make up for in resources and skill, which I personally think makes them even more dangerous than if they were a larger organization. Having said that, I do like how this chapter also gives us a look into the mindset and values of the JA nowadays, that although through Uzuki's eyes they always will be an evil and corrupt organization, through the administrators we do see that they do try to instill some basic values into the applicants, that they do believe in the idea of doing what you have to in order to pass the test, like in the same vein that you do what you have to in order to complete the contract or complete the kill or whatever they do. Like they do fervently, but they still do fervently believe in the idea that needless killing does not make you a good assassin. That killing those who aren't your target isn't the moniker of an assassin, just a killer. And it's interesting how the JA does attempt to distinguish the two in this chapter, but trying to reinforce the point that for as much as assassins are hired killers, there is still a level of professionalism, a camaraderie, and a standard that exists within the assassin world. We've seen it through the flashbacks, and this isn't something new either. We've seen this through the flashbacks diving into Taro's past. Like, we've seen how behind the scenes things really are. That a lot of these, even though a lot of these people are assassins, that they still do find their own groups of people to associate with, their own people that they can confide in and whatnot. This in itself, though, does further beg the question of just what the nature of Uzuki's grudge is, because it is feeling more and more personal, and that the reason he's doing all this is to get the attention of someone specific, someone who's a higher up within the organization that we haven't met, and if that is in fact the case, that does also make the fact that Suzuki has been keeping Uzuki's backstory close to the chest all the more intriguing, and kind of telling that, yeah, the fact that we haven't seen Uzuki's backstory yet, that in a weird way is kind of telling that the person who Uzuki wants to grab the attention of is someone he personally knows, but the fact that it's someone Uzuki knows also feeds even more into the idea that what I said before, that this is a family issue and a deep-rooted one. There's like, even though Uzuki doesn't show it, that there is some personal trauma here going on with the man that is very family related, and. And yeah, of course the chapter ends with Mafuyu and Nao and Shin jumping into the fray, so full-on 3v1 against Gaku. And yeah, I'm here for it. Not only seeing what Gaku can do when up against more than one person, especially when he doesn't have his weapon, although I guess that in itself has already been shown with the way he was throwing around the administrators, but like honestly, no matter how skilled you are, I wouldn't want to go up against someone like Nao. Like, she is a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Although, I will also say this though, it will be interesting to see how this affects Shin, how this fight affects Shin, because Suzuki wrote this chapter in a way where Shin conveniently overexerted himself, so I doubt, so that basically means he may not be able to use his clairvoyance, but it would be interesting to see if he hadn't, if Shin was in a state where he had to overexert himself, so we could know whether or not his clairvoyance would work on Gaku in this instance, since it's not the real him, just a VR robot. Like, it's one of those things where I have to assume it wouldn't work though, just kind of based on that knowledge, but it wouldn't work though just based on that knowledge. But yeah, it would be kind of interesting to see if whether or not, like, he would even try to use his clairvoyance, and whether or not that would work. Like, just kind of seeing the possibility of whether or not it would play out, I think is what I'd be more interested in, frankly. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you want Blue Sky, Analyst, Crunchyroll, but you can subscribe button, and just the end, guys. Dark Knight Ryan signing off. Later, everyone.